Noreen, honey, we can't see your eyes.
Okay. Can I begin now?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Noreen, and I'm studying to be a dentist, but I haven't been able to study or think straight ever since my 10-year-old cousin Razan was killed. My cousin Razan, her 12-year-old sister Nuran, and my other cousin who's a doctor were all killed by Israeli shelling and snipers. Razan was the most beautiful little Palestinian girl who loved things like K-pop and Billie Eilish. Her and her sister's only crime were trying to get water when they were shot and killed by Israeli snipers. And my elderly uncle, who was 70 years old, sitting in his apartment, was also shot and killed by Israeli snipers. My cousin Hammam was a young, kind doctor who lived to help people and was killed when an Israeli tank shelled his home. He left 2 kids behind and he didn't make it. My family and over 2 million other Palestinians who had nothing to do with October 7th are being killed by Israel on a daily basis. I'm asking President Biden to tell Israel to demand a ceasefire and to please stop the genocide and killing of our people, of the Palestinian people.
Noreen, can you come here? Okay. Muhammad, Muhammad had, he's going to speak for himself, but he had 120 family members killed yesterday.
Good afternoon.
Okay, wait 1 second, Muhammad.
My name is Mohammed Shahibar. Yesterday I just received lost 120 Palestinian family members to an airstrike by the Israelis. My family has been living in Gaza over 1400 years. My family has been working on the port of Gaza for hundreds of years, importing, exporting oranges, and in a matter of 3 days, Israel bombed, killed 370 people, 250 Palestinians in November, and yesterday 120 of my family. This is my cousin Asma. She's an accountant. She got sister who's a dentist, sister's an engineer, and brother who's a lawyer. She got killed, and she had two orphan daughters. That's them. And that's them too. Full of life, very joyful. Matter of fact, they call her the rose of her family and our family. My cousin Maher, I don't have a picture on him right now, but I have it on the phone. He lost 25 members of his family, and including kids. And my cousin Nabil, he lost 29 members on November of his wife. He grew up with me, we played together. Him and his wife, his children, his grandchildren, all gone by the Israeli bombs or Israeli genocide. I would like to say Napoleon Bonaparte, the French emperor, he came to Gaza, destroyed what he destroyed. Gaza resisted, and he left Palestine in a short time. Even Napoleon could not do what Israel did in 4 days. My family lost 4 generations of peaceful, loving family, and we will never forget that. My family working class, and till now they're working, my brothers and their sons, trucking inventory from the UN to Gaza in need, and they're still under fire. Under all the pressure, they're still working to help the families of Gaza. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Adam. I'm an American father, husband, son, who lives actually in the United States, and I own a pharmacy. I never thought I would live until today to tell the genocide of my family that was killed in November 22nd this year, when a matter of few hours, over 104 members of my family were slaughtered by Israel. Israel took my life, my soul away when they bombed and killed my 83 years old father, mother, and a brother. My father was the salt of earth. He's a loving person. He loves life, he loves nature, and he loves everybody. My 5-year-old daughter asked me, when we were looking at 19 pictures of our family slaughtered and killed by Israel, and I had to tell her the harsh truth that they were all killed by Israel. My cousin Yasser, he's more than a brother to me. He catered my whole wedding to my beautiful wife here, and he actually was killed by Israel along the side of his wife, 6 kids, and his 2 grandkids too. I can't tell you everything about all these family members and others that I have pictures of right here. I don't think I can emotionally go through talking about each and every one that was killed by Israel. On less than a day, they killed over 104 family members. I think the most troubling aspect of Israel mass killing of my family is that when they bombed one house and other Palestinian family members came to aid, they went and bombed the same house again and again until they killed over 104 of our Palestinian family. The worst part of this genocide is that our president, Biden, can easily pick up the phone and call Israel to stop the killing of my Palestinian family and friends. Please stop, ceasefire now. We need to go back and bury our people, our family from under the rubble. Thank you.
My name is Mohammed Abouassi. I'm 29 years old. I'm a pharmacist, born and raised in New Jersey. Israel's killed over 90 family members of mine in the past few months. That's 3 generations of my family, as young as 3 months old, I'm sorry. None of whom had anything to do with October 7th. My Aunt Nadia and her kids, 9 kids actually, were killed in one strike while they were sleeping at home. My uncle and his 2 kids, actually here, were killed in an Israeli bombardment. Suleiman and Omar, he actually, his body wasn't able to be recovered. They had to clean his body up with a rake. And Omar spent 10 days in the hospital without any vision, and he was paralyzed until he eventually passed. My cousin Shahid, she's 10 years old, was 10 years old. She was a fashionista, and she wanted to be a doctor even though she didn't like school. She was killed in her home under Israeli bombardment as well. My newlywed cousin Ismail, I was very close to. He was just hit by Israeli shelling randomly on the street, even though he was pretty far from the fighting. The rest of my surviving family is currently starving, along with about 2 million other Palestinians in the Gaza Strip, because Israel prevents humanitarian aid. This is a genocide of our people, my people, and my family. I'd like to ask the press, since you guys are good at finding resources, if you know anybody who knows how to deal with a genocide, a televised genocide, as we're all dealing with it, and nobody knows how. I speak to my younger cousin Layla. We call her Layla the Pretty. She's the only blonde one in her family. I talked to her on the phone. She's 7 years old, and I know that it's not going to be okay. But I lie to her and tell her to be brave, and that soon it will be okay. She always complains to me about the noise and the shaking that the missiles, Israeli missiles, cause. I'd like to ask why President Biden doesn't think we are worthy of compassion, empathy, and condolences while we helplessly watch as Israel genocides our people.
My name is Jumana Bushiria. I'm a sophomore in high school, and 4 generations of my family have been killed in the Gaza Strip. 93 of my family members were killed, including my 2-month-old Tina, who has been killed. My uncle Fathi was one of the kindest people I've ever met in my entire life. And he built a community center where he helped people solve their problems, and whenever they needed money or food or water, he was always there to help them, even when he was struggling and sometimes. My cousin Bayana, his daughter, was 16 years old, and she was disabled. Her left arm, which was immovable, and she loved to embroider with her right arm, and she was also killed by Israeli bombs. My cousin Karim, who was studying to become a physical therapist, and his brother Amir, who just finished high school and wanted to become a computer scientist, were also killed due to an Israeli bomb. They first killed my family's building where his father was at, and then when they went to go rescue them, they also killed them along. Karim, his mom, and his brother were killed when they went to go rescue them, and they killed house after house after house in a matter of a day, killing over 93 people of my family and over 4 generations. Of the 93 people of my family who were killed by Israel, we've only been able to bury 11 of them. 11 of my families were the only ones able to be buried, because they're still under the rubble. We can't recognize their faces, so there could be more. My Khalu Sliman, he works at the hospital at the Shifa, and then when the Israeli army came to invade it, he went to Al-Wada hospital and then transferred over to the Jabalia Red Crescent Jabalia camp, where he saved people's lives, and he hasn't seen his family since the 3rd day of the war. My grandpa, who's not in this picture, he fractured his rib cage in the beginning of the war, and yet still healing from it. My aunt Intisar and her 4 grandchildren, 1, 2, 3, 4, have been killed by Israeli snipers. I told my aunt I always want to be a doctor to save people's lives because I hate seeing people die. And I promised her that when I become a doctor, I will move to Palestine and save people's lives. And if I was a doctor right now, I would have been there in Palestine to help save her life right away. I can never get over the fact that 93 of my family members are dead, and I'm never going to be able to see them again. Who were killed by Israel. I'm asking President Biden to stop this genocide before the rest of my family is killed and that I can no longer see. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Dua, and actually I had a prepared statement, but I'd like to let you know that 13 minutes ago I got a text message from my mom that someone that was very close to her was just killed, a young man named Ayman. So I'm a mom of 2 adorable kids, but what will I tell them about the 30 extended family members who were just killed by Israeli bombs? Like many Palestinian families, my family has been in Gaza for over 1,000 years. And our beautiful Gaza has now become the most dangerous place in the world. I'm heartbroken because in the past few weeks, Israel has forced 3 generations of my family out of their homes, and now they're living on the streets, in their cars, effectively homeless. My cousin Jemana has no access to food because she's borderline starving and she chooses to feed her 4 young children. And there are food trucks, but they're not being allowed into Israel. Not being allowed into Gaza by Israel. This is my cousin Mahmoud. I'm terrified for him because he is just one of 1,100 Palestinian kidney dialysis patients who will die at any moment because Israel is denying him basic medical treatment. He just sent us this picture with a bandaged head because he also just narrowly survived a missile attack on his home for the 3rd time. And I have videos if you would like to look at them after. It is not safe for any Palestinian because my mom's cousin decided to stay in her home. And her entire area was besieged until the building was bombed and her and her 4 children were killed in their homes. I have one request for President Biden. Please save what's left of my family. And the other Palestinian families who have been just asking for one thing for 75 years. Freedom and equality. Thank you.
My name is Mahmoud Ashi. I've been live in the United States since 1987. On November 2nd, at 4 o'clock our time, I was on the phone with my older brother. His name is Munzir. 2 hours later, I wake up and a message from my other brothers that he was killed while he was sleeping. It was 6 o'clock our time. Over there, it was like about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. They in the middle, like early morning, sleeping. Him, his brother, his son, and 5 other people from his family. They all got killed. I was looking for it every summer to go back and go see my brother and hug him and go enjoy the time in the Gaza beach. Please, we want ceasefire now in Gaza. Please, President Biden. These people, not number. These people are human, and these people really need a freedom of life. They need to live their life like any other people, like all Americans, any other nationality. We are human. We have a blood going inside our body. We have everything. We have doctors has been killed in Gaza. We have a lot of people well educated.
They has nothing to do with anything. All what they're looking for, a nice, respectful life for a very simple things. We need a clear water to drink. We need a schools that we can take our children, safe schools. In a cold weather, they have some heats on it. In the hot weather, they have air conditioning. They need a playground for the children who just born. Just 2 days ago, I received a message from my other brother. One of my nephews was taking his wife pregnant to the hospital with her mother to deliver the baby. They was stopped by Israeli bulldozer. They stopped the car, and guess what they did? They made the bulldozer go all over the car and the people. They mashed everybody in the car. Everybody was mashed like in the street. Who can live like that? How much we have to take? How long we have to be silent, and how long we need to call for a ceasefire? Please, ceasefire. Thank you.
To evacuate, but then bomb them while doing so. Does that make sense? It is impossible for Palestinians to evacuate because Israel has closed the border that would allow them to leave, so they have no place being but bombed and killed. I'm begging President Biden, like everybody else here is begging and pleading, to stop Israel from bombing Palestinians. They are not bombing anyone but civilians, Palestinian innocent civilians. They are bombing my family, my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, everybody else here. As you can see, it didn't make it either. Our family that are still alive have no water, no electricity, no food or medicine because of the blockade. We all know that they need food. We all know that they need medication. We see it. We hear it. You hear it in our voices and you see it. But we're not letting it in. We as humans are making decisions on when these Palestinian people get to live or not. And we are standing here and letting it be. Again, I am begging, which I shouldn't be begging. I am requesting for President Biden to stop bombing the innocent civilians in Palestine. I want to hear my uncle's voice. I want to hear my cousin's voice. I haven't in 5 days. I don't know if they're alive or not. We don't know. There's no words to describe that we are here standing here in 2023 requesting for our family members to be humans, to be humanized, to be treated like we all want to be treated. Put yourself in our shoes. You wouldn't be able to endure what we are enduring right now. Thank you.
All the families spoken?
I believe so.
Brother second.
Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. From God we come, to God we return. Our condolences to our brothers and sisters who are here and those many who are not here with us, for the loved ones they've lost, for the innocence that has been killed, and for the truth that is being denied. The truth is that there is a genocide taking place. The truth is that this is a textbook case of genocide, according to the former director who resigned at the beginning of this war because of what he was seeing in terms of ineptitude of the United Nations, Craig Mukhtar, of the Director of Human Rights at the United Nations, and according to many scholars of genocide and Holocaust studies. My name is Imam Safed Kadovic. I am the Director of UN Operations for Justice for All, We are a faith-based organization accredited as an NGO at the United Nations. For over 30 years, we have a track record of working to fight to protect religious freedoms and human rights for religious and ethnic minorities around the world. We have our genesis in the genocide that took place in my ancestral Bosnia and Herzegovina, and continue to work to put an end to genocide and religious persecution of religious minorities around the world. I'm here to inform you and to announce the information that the Office of the Prosecutor of the International Criminal Court has opened a digital platform to enable people to submit complaints online to the ICC with an option to add pictures, videos that show the crimes that some have been mentioned here today, the crimes of the Israeli occupiers against them, for the court to consider them and to take a stance against Israel. These include killings, rapes, torture, deprivation of property, illegal imprisonment, displacement, forced displacement, and even the destruction of olive gardens. Those with information relevant to the current events in Israel and Palestine are asked to provide submissions. Information submitted under this portal should relate to the alleged crimes within the jurisdiction of the International Criminal Court, namely war crimes, crimes against humanity, genocide, as is articulated and specified under the Roman statute, or aggression. The case against Israel was originally filed by the government of Palestine on January 1, 2015, for alleged crimes committed in the occupied Palestinian territory, including East Jerusalem, West Bank, and Gaza, dating back to 2014. That was the previous war on Gaza. And there is no end date for submissions. 3 weeks ago, the ICC OPT opened up the portal, and we encourage your reporting. You can go to justiceforall.org website for information on how you can be a part of this process. Individuals, organizations, victims, churches, mosques, synagogues, everybody can report the crimes to the ICC. Please do so. www.justiceforall.org. Thank you.
Dina. If anyone wants to talk to the families, they will be here.
Just to wrap up, everybody here behind us who's lost family in Gaza to Israeli shelling has called on President Biden to support a ceasefire in Gaza. But to add to that, the Council on American Islamic Relations, CARE New Jersey, our New Jersey chapter specifically, since October 7th, has been reaching out to each elected official in New Jersey, calling on them to support a ceasefire. Before the death toll had reached 20,000. Long before that, we've been calling on our elected officials to support a ceasefire. We've called them Senator Menendez, Senator Booker, Pasquale, Mikey Sherrill, every single representative and senator. We've met with them and we've called on them. And tonight, we're meeting with Assemblyman Andrew Zwicker to call on him to support a ceasefire in Gaza and in Palestine. Thank you.
Sorry. Dina, can you also mention calling on New York officials also?
And we're also calling, folks from New York are also calling on New York officials to also support a ceasefire in Palestine and in Gaza and to end the occupation of Palestine. Thank you. They will not be taking any questions right now, but they will be available for interview
right now.
After. Thank you.
Can I just ask the preference of the press? Do you prefer to ask them here at the podium or one by one?